Hello, it's me once again on another video. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe down below. And today we're going to be looking at Pink Floyd's A Momentary Lapse of Reason, one of the most polarizing albums in the Pink Floyd discography, depending what side of the fence you're on, if you're pro Roger, pro David, and the rest of the band. But anyway, let's get into this. Now, coming off of the disaster that really was the Final Cut commercially, change was in the air. Roger Waters no longer wanted to be a member of Pink Floyd. He wanted to do his solo thing, which he went and did and quit the band and sued him, did all that jazz. But change was coming. David Gilmour, around this time, he takes a lot of flack for the change in sound of this album. But to anyone who's paying attention to what himself, Nick Mason, and Rick Wright were doing around this time, it was not a change that was completely out of the blue. Maybe for Pink Floyd fans, but for fans of these guys, it wasn't. It was what they were doing at the time. You look back, Nick Mason stuff was very new wave, very synth poppy sounding. Rick Wright did a new wave album. It was terrible, but he still did one. David Gilmour's solo album, About Face, which didn't do very well, but really featured some damn good tracks on it, like All Lovers Deranged, Love in the Air, Out of the Blue, Let's Get Metaphysical, Murder. Many songs on it that I actually quite personally like and that were different. Now, coming into this album, the one strength Pink Floyd had, it was just David Gilmour and Nick Mason as official members. If you look at Wikipedia and other stuff, they credit Rick Wright coming in later in the process to some of these songs, and you're listening to it, and it is very David Gilmour heavy. I will admit that, compared to the Division Bell, where you did get some moments of Rick Wright in there, which worked quite well. But this album, everyone says the synth pop sound, but does that make it bad? In my opinion, no. Music's music. You adapt to your situation. So Pink Floyd, coming into this album, needed help because David Gilmour has said he's not the greatest lyric writer in the world. So they brought in some outside help. And a lot of Floyd fans say, that's the end of the band. You can't collaborate with anybody. To me, that's bullshit. Bands collaborate all the time. You look at a lot of bands, there's collaborations throughout their history. So to say that, oh, because it wasn't the band itself writing all the stuff, that's a terrible way to look at it. But anyway, let's get into this album. Musically, this album is, in my opinion, damn good. Signs of Life had that ambient intro. You had Rick Wright coming in with the keys. And then you have David Gilmour putting in a solo. It's very instrumental, but it's a very quick solo. It doesn't drag on. It's quick, it's done with, it's over. On to the next song, which was Learning to Fly. Around this time, David Gilmour and Nick Mason had a love of flying, wrote a song about it. The intro, this song has ended up on a lot of Pink Floyd's greatest hits albums, which I do agree, it is a really damn good song, very catchy. It shows off David Gilmour's vocals. That's one thing about the Roger Waters Wall in the Final Cut that I always felt dragged those albums down, is they were too Roger heavy. That you needed David Gilmour's contrast to really bring them down. Now, they have great moments on them, but still, you need that contrast. David Gilmour here, Learning to Fly, great song. Solo wasn't very long. It did what it needed to do, and it really was a hit for the band. On to song number 3, Dogs of War. Really that driving, bluesy, Run Like Hell-like intro. Just drive to it. I won't say Run Like Hell intro, more just that driving bass of it. That do 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 do. And then the keys / I believe Hammond organ in there worked very well. It was great. It was fantastic to listen to. And it's more that bluesy solo, but what really puts the song apart for me is when David Gilmour did the One World, which is something David Gilmour vocally, he always had that soft vocal that he could hit that note, that just great tone to his voice, but also with the harshness of the Dogs of Woe and Man of Hate type stuff he was doing. On to the next song, One Slip, which is I kind of say the intro is kind of an updated version of Time that didn't take so long. But it works in this song, and it's probably one of the most upbeat songs on the album that I love. Like this song, One Slip and down the hall you fall. It's very catchy, it's very upbeat. It's something you don't really expect from Pink Floyd, but David Gilmour made this work really well, even if it was helped written by other musicians. I'm not sure if it was this song or Dogs of War, where Carmine Appice played drums on. I know one of the songs he did. This might have been it, but it was fantastic, like, to listen to, and it's very upbeat. On to the next song, another great song, and when people say that, oh, the lyrics sucked after Roger Waters left the band, On the Turning Away, which is a song that just focuses mainly on David Gilmour's voice. Worked really good. On the turning away from the pale and downtrodden. Just that stuff. David Gilmour's voice is smooth, it's mellow, and it works and features some great guitar playing. It's not overly guitar heavy, it's more focused on keys and stuff, but it works for this album really well, and it's done very well. And that's the first half of the album. Now you're looking at that first half and you're saying, wow, that's a great first half to a record. Where this album loses it is on the second half. They lose it on a few songs. Now, Yet Another Movie, Round Around, I see what they're going for. It just, to me, didn't work. Now, on to the next song, Yet Another Movie, Round Around, Terminal Frost. Fantastic David Gilmour instrumental guitar playing. That is David Gilmour's signature. On all his solo albums, on these upcoming Pink Floyd album, this one in Division Bell is very much a David Gilmour trademark. Where David Gilmour, or actually I missed a song in there, The New Machine is really where the album went off the wall for me. Just completely lost me. From Yet Another Movie, Round and Round, New Machine, Terminal Frost, which was amazing, onto The New Machine Part 2, which really I would have taken a couple minutes of David Gilmour doing something else than doing this. It just didn't work for me, but hey, that's my opinion. And then to close out the album on such a high. This is something David Gilmour did on A Momentary Lapse of Reason and The Division Bell. He ended them on high notes. Really damn good songs. Sorrow has that really great and just, it sets such a mood that it's like, wow, I'm liking this. Some people hate the synth pop sound of it. I actually think it really adds to this album quite a bit, and it works really goddamn well, and ends, and then you get David Gilmour on that solo, but also in the middle there's a throwback to Echoes, and it very much is one of my things where he does that eerie guitar thing when he's like, not enough, it's not enough, and it's just going on, but it doesn't outstay its welcome, where maybe Echoes did a little bit with that part. This part really worked well, and then brought back in the vocals. Just great stuff. Lyrically, this song is amazing, at least in my opinion. And then you get, so that's the album. And I get why some people, maybe this isn't their cup of tea for Pink Floyd. You always get the Pink Floyd defenders that'll defend everything. This album to me has, first half's really solid, second half Terminal Frost, Sorrow, the rest is eh. But to me it's still a damn good album. Is it up there with their greatest hits? Dark Side, The Wall, Animals, Wish You Were Here, Echoes? No, but it's still a pretty damn good album. I think it's one of those middle Pink Floyd albums. It's not as bad as Amagama to me. It's not as bad as Endless River. It's not as bad even to me as The Final Cut. The Final Cut lost me musically. I find it dry and very boring and not much really to it. This album to me is an album I really enjoy. Start, first half I enjoy. Second half there's a couple songs in there I skip, and then the two really good songs on it. But anyway, it's a fantastic album. I really suggest people give it a chance. That's what I always say. Don't listen to what other people say. Give some of these albums chances, because you might find you might like it. You might like it a lot. But anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions on the Division, or on A Momentary Lapse of Reason, sorry. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, subscribe. Tell me, what did you think of this album? This is me here signing out. Peace.